So this is kind of like an urgent message, really. It's a little bit bloody out there. We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about a lot of altcoins that look great. This is an opportunity, in my opinion. We're going to look at the ETF success and, most importantly, why things are dropping. Don't worry about it. Shall we get into it? I think we should. Let's talk about the obvious in the room. The fear and the greed is starting to slowly drop. It's fine. I'm not really that bothered about this. Every market cycle, there's always ups and downs. There's always this kind of lull in January of every year. And there's always a little bit of a market crash before the halving. However, we've got a new narrative here. We've got Greyscale selling a lot of Bitcoin, right? Let's talk about this. This is a great tweet here talking about the inflows and outflows of Bitcoin. In my opinion, the dumping will stop eventually, right? That's fine. But what we are seeing is actual genuine success of the ETFs in terms of Fidelity, BlackRock, etc. buying and buying and buying. Look at how much they're now holding. Look at the outflows of, obviously Greyscale over the course of time. It's always going to overshadow it. This is why the price is falling. But it's given us an opportunity. That's what I look at it as. For me, the outflows, great. It's fine. Get it out of the way. Is it going to be FCX? Potentially. What about the Mt. Gox stuff? Cool, whatever. But we have to look at the obvious in the room here. This is a tweet and obviously a video attached to it. The head of iShares in terms of BlackRock as a product, talking about the success of it.
The iShares Bitcoin Trust, what we like to refer to as IBIT, has traded more than $3.5 billion since its launch just a little over a week ago. We've brought in more than $1.6 billion in flows. We're the #1 issuer, new issuer, both in terms of volume as well as flows. When you look at the spreads, we're trading at a penny wide. This is exactly what you...
Successful ETF launch with 1.6 billion inflow. Optimistic about the ETF. For Ethereum, it was investors who demanded the Bitcoin ETF, which is fair enough. But ultimately, the fundamentals of Bitcoin with its scarcity and all that kind of stuff is giving us an opportunity to get more people in the market. And we're starting to see that via this article. Crypto whales hunt for bargains as the Bitcoin price slides. People are buying the dip. And this is what this message is all about. Trying to showcase that, yeah, a 19% correction, a 20% correction, whatever. People are buying it. It hasn't fundamentally broken. Now, that's not to say that we're not going to go any lower. We probably will. Those outflows could happen for a very, very long time. But when we start looking at the fact of the premiums and stuff like that, people are genuinely buying this and thinking, well, look at the cycle. Look at the narrative. Why is it important? We have halving coming up. We also have elections coming up. The data is strong on a lot of things, and it's looking very, very interesting to showcase that the cycle narrative and the cycle theory is still happening. Bitcoin has dropped quite severely. We have had a nice bearish divergence in the RSI here, showcase a nice little dump to the downside. A little bit of a situation, but realistically, the problem we've got with ETFs and time is that element, time. A lot of people were really, really bullish on the ETF approval. I was happy that it happened, but ultimately you got to think, well, it's going to take time for these products to get a bit of weight, take time for them to buy the Bitcoins. If they are still buying $430 million plus worth of Bitcoin every day, and they do that for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 3, 4, 5 years, things are going to get very interesting with Bitcoin and its scarcity. It's going to keep going higher over time. There will be sellers and losers, winners and whatever. We get the idea. So when we look at Bitcoin here, there's some key levels. For me, when we're looking at the weekly time frame, this 37k level is a very big, juicy level. Opportunity. And we're going to go into altcoins. We're going to look at where a lot of these altcoins are. So if you do like this sort of stuff, leave a like. If you're new around here, please do subscribe. We need to look at them because to me, some of them are looking like opportunities. And we are going to talk about the obvious of it could go lower. Of course it can. But this level here looks nice. Could go down here. 30k level is not out the realm of possibility, right? Obvious. But you got to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. look at where we are. Look at what's happened. Pretty strong in terms of that. So let's look at some altcoins. Cardano. Where are we? Well, look at that big level there on the weekly. I'll zoom in so you can see it on mobile. Look at where we are. That to me looks like a key level. Looks like a good level that people may well be buying on. There's also ones a little bit lower as well, but play it by ear. We could talk about the likes of AVAX as well. Already hit this level. Really nice bit of TA. And this is the thing. We are pulling back. What if we are going to just continue going higher? What if everything is just rattled out over the next couple of months and bosh? Maybe. Psychological. Because what we're seeing here, in my opinion, is Mr. Market Maker screaming to people, it's over. Then what we're going to see is Mr. Market Maker saying the absolute opposite, and it's going to absolutely rattle your brain. Basically, you've got to flip it upside down, because when people look at that and think, oh God, it's got to keep going on forever, they're going to make you feel like it's over down here. So you've got to flip it, right? Make sense? So Mr. Market Maker is going to make people feel like, oh, it's never going to pump again, end of cycle, it's a failure. And up here, what they're going to make you feel like euphoric. It's got to keep going forever. This time is different. Even Dogecoin, right? Still consolidating. Had a little bit of a mini pump, but it's still at levels of interest. Polkadot, again, we talk about this one in somewhat of a range. You could probably argue deviated out of it a little bit, but back into this kind of area. Went right down to $6 and bounced right back off it. These are levels, in my opinion, of opportunity. If you start putting fibs on it and look at that sort of side of it, you can see where things are and see why certain levels become quite apparent. Ethereum is the most interesting one here. Deviated out, looked like he's going to go for a run. We're back in this range. This is a weekly time frame, by the way. Looks very interesting. There's so many opportunities here that look fantastic. Even File. I mean, it's not even got out the gates yet. But everyone's like, oh, we've missed it. We've missed the pump and everything. Filecoin is still at levels of huge interest where it's been for a course of the last few years. So most people are going to forget about this and miss the opportunity that is currently, in my opinion, being presented. Hedra, some LTA there. Again, looking at it. Key levels, it's been here in June. It's been here in February and even in April. You've not missed out. ICP is an interesting one. Looks like a dog's dinner. I'll probably have to go into the log scale to show you this. There you go. You can see this level here. Showcase. Boom. Level of support. Why not? So, to people here who are flapping, panicking, and thinking the worst, don't. There's no need to. Even Injective, as much as it's absolutely mooning, it's also pulled back. Everything in the market has pulled back. Chainlink has found a nice juicy level of support here. It's looking pretty good, right? Even like the Near Protocol, right at this beautiful level. May melt for it, who knows? But when we talk about all these kind of stuff, there's beautiful levels of history, target, support, levels, resistance, based off the fact of price analysis of that price, support and resistance. Look at that level there. Solana. It's all here. It all showcases where the price has gone. Psychological stuff, right? This is why a lot of people can call markets pretty well, looking at certain levels. I remember me talking about certain things ages ago. Oh, it's going to go to these levels. No, it's not. Never going to go. And it does. Price always gravitates to certain points. Hence why we go up to certain levels. Hence why we reject off certain levels. Hence why we bounce off them. It's all psychological, right? Why is this important? The dominance is interesting here, and it's going to tell us where the market could be going. This is still in a mini downtrend. It's creating lower lows and stuff like that. That's fine. We'll see what happens. It may well bounce and roll over. Altcoins may well push. There is a lot of market demand right now. The dollar may well be rejecting. It may well be continuing going down. If it does, that'd be brilliant. There is an opportunity here to look at key levels. What have I been saying about the last 18 months? If they're low enough, if they're key levels, buy the dip, right? Long as you know we're in a downtrend, an uptrend, whatever, long as you're not doing silly things, you will be okay. It's all about time. But we've got to look at the obvious here. The S&P 500 is still ramping up to the upside massively. Where will crypto go? Where will Bitcoin go? It might well follow it eventually. Or we just follow gold, right? Over time, as I say, the grayscale shakeout will happen. People will eventually notice this and they will stop the selling. They will run out. They will fumble all the bags and ultimately BlackRock, Fidelity, Bitwise, ARK, whoever will probably buy them up, along with retail investors who are starting to fall into the hype. When things start going good, people will come to the market. Anyways, if you like this stuff, let me know. More technical analysis in my Patreon if you're interested. I will be locking it very soon, so be mindful of that. First come, first serve and all that kind of bollocks, as I will be changing a couple of things on it. Tiers will be changing.